New deserts are emerging. Forests are drying up, and we're still wasting water. The regions marked here in dark red are places where water is extremely scarce and sources are drying up. Pale red and orange indicate areas where water scarcity is only slightly less critical. Delhi in India, the southern part of the city. Water tankers supply poor neighborhoods, but only come once a week.
Water is so scarce. Some mornings there are so many people you would think there's a fair on. Everyone is struggling to fill cans. There are arguments, fights, even accidents. Water is our biggest problem. We wish they would fix taps in all of our houses, just like they've installed electricity lines.
Delhi's main water supply is the Yamuna River, but there hasn't been enough rainfall, so its water level is low.
The biggest problem in Delhi today is the availability of clean water. A lot of work has gone into cleaning efforts, etc. But there is an urgent need to address the issue of making more water available. Urbanization is taking place rapidly, and with it, the demand for water is rising just as fast.
In Germany, water is also becoming an issue. US-based electric car manufacturer Tesla is planning to build its European factory in Brandenburg, outside Berlin. Once it's operational, it will consume millions of liters of water every day. Water levels in this nearby lake have already sunk due to a series of hot, dry summers. The water at this point in the lake used to reach Jens Mader's waist. He grew up here on Lake Straußsee. The prospect of the new Tesla factory worries him.
We have to assume that climate change will continue and that there will be less rainfall and increased evaporation. If there's a vast amount of water consumption on top of that, the water level will continue to fall as it has done in recent years. It's likely to drop another few meters. The ferry will no longer run then. No one will be able to swim in the lake, and bird breeding grounds will be destroyed.
In the state of North Rhine-Westphalia, there's concern about the drinking water supply at the Gilsenwasser waterworks.
The situation is fraught. We're seeing some of the lowest water levels since records began, the result of the past 3 dry summers. There's a slight improvement underway, but the rain from the past 2 months isn't enough. There needs to be a lot more rain.
Water is all part of the fun for tourists on the island of Bali. And as tourism grows, so too does water consumption. Bali residents are getting worried about their drinking water supplies.
So because there's a shortage of sweet water, we need to keep that within our system. We need to keep it on the island. We need to retain it, push it into the ground, and use it here where we need it the most.
Bali's villagers have to travel long distances to get fresh water. The next clean water is an hour walk from where this woman lives. Around the world, 2 billion people face huge problems when it comes to access to clean water.
Every morning I go out to fetch water. For drinking water at home, I fill up a large container. I always bring the dirty clothes to the water and wash them. Every day it's like that. If I have enough time, I go to the water source several times a day to fetch water back home.
What would global solutions look like? One key aspect is utilizing wastewater. It's rarely treated in India, but recycling it could ease demands. The Absolute Water startup came up with an organic innovation, filtering sewage water through plant matter and sand. In their system, worms break down any toxins in the water, digesting them into harmless components and converting sewage into drinking water.
The most important thing is the operational cost, which currently in the market we are the cheapest. We are 1/8 of that of the conventional STPs. Being green, We are not subject to very heavy equipment. So therefore, our electricity cost consumption is the lowest. So all in all, it's a full sustainable green system, and it is constantly cyclical, as I call it.
A big rethink is already underway in Germany as well, where farmers are turning to crops which need little water. Researchers say climate change could make the long, hot and very dry summers of recent years a permanent fixture. That could lead to conflicting demands on water distribution. The Farmers Association is already highlighting potential flashpoints.
Obviously, competition for water will increase. And for those relatively minor parts of the agricultural industry which use sprinklers, meaning fruit and vegetable farms, we need water for irrigation. And obviously, we'll have to weigh up the benefits of, say, watering gardens, washing machine usage, showering, cooling water, and washing up water, and ask if we couldn't use it better to produce food.
The world needs investment in water pipes. On Bali, 8 organizations have stepped in to help. Villagers are also footing a share of the costs in projects like this, where water will now be pumped uphill from the source to the village.
When I went to New Zealand in 1969, everything was just so like heaven. You turn the tap, you got hot water, another tap, cold water. It's just beautiful. And everything was kind of arranged so good. So I thought, well, why couldn't I improve the situation over here? So I do that.
The state doesn't do much for infrastructure here. It's the same as in many countries around the world.